Well, personally, I met my boyfriend through there, through Snapchat. So that's my experience.
One of my first dates freshman year. I met a girl, she was from Knoxville, and the situation was she wants to hang out. Cool. My buddy told me there was going to be a party in Knoxville. I didn't have a car at the time, and he's like, so we're going to go to a party, we'll drink, and invite her to the party. Sounds like a great idea at first. So I go to the party, I start drinking, I tell her to show up. It's been an hour, so being me, I thought she wasn't going to show up, so I just start drinking. And then I drink a little bit more, then just a little bit more. Then I pass out. I wake up. I wake up in a barn the next morning with a girl I met on Tinder next to me. And she told me that I had passed out and talked her into going to hang out at her place, but her dad didn't like me, and I didn't leave. I wake up and all I hear, because I'm like confused, I'm screaming, I'm like, where am I? What's going on? I scream, and all you hear from the back is a ch-ch. Who the hell's in my barn right now? Oh shit. I didn't want to stay there for him to realize it was me. So I find my shoes and everything I own, which is nothing but my pants, my shoes, and my phone. My phone's dead. And I run through a field of corn. And I am just running through until I find a town. So I literally was ducking and dodging to that little town, looking for like someone to tell me exactly where I was, because my phone was dead. I figured it out, called them to pick me up. I never saw that shirt again, and I never talked to that girl again. That was my very first Tinder date as a college student.
Do you want the scary story or the fun story? Or both? Okay, so I was low-key kind of stalked from Tinder. Well, not stalked, but I met a guy on there one time, and like he became like obsessed with me. Like he went to like MTSU, and he would literally like message me all the time, like would invite me to go to parties with him. And like from like the first time I met him, he was like, I just want you to know, like, I'm serious about this. Like, I would love to like be able to date you. I'm like, buddy, I met you one time. Like, I don't know like what the deal is, but he would just like constantly like try to get in contact with me, constantly try to like go out with me. And I was like finally like, hey, like you're being weird, like you're making me uncomfortable. And like he would like end up in places that, like I was at, and it was just weird. And I deleted Tinder after that because it just freaked me out too much. But did I still have Bumble? Yes. But the good story. We've been leading up to this moment. I met my boyfriend on Bumble, and he lives in Nashville, so like there's like no way I would have ever met him like without it. And I was just scrolling through one night, and like on Bumble, all the guys like want to like match with girls because like the girls have to message first, so like everyone's like swiping right on like all the girls. So like I would just do the same thing and be like, let's see how many boys I can match with tonight. And I never saw that I matched with him like initially, but like on Bumble you can like extend the time, and he extended time on mine. I was like, let's give this guy a shot. So I did, and we went on a date, and we literally dated, well not dated, went on dates for 3 months, and I was kind of angry because by the second month I was like, can I be your girlfriend now? But it took a long time, which is kind of a good thing, like since I met him online, to really have that like 3-month period of like going on dates and like being like, I guess, friends before. But now we've been dating for almost 11 months, and I love him a lot.
So I have one crazy story, and I used to pride myself on not having any kind of crazy hookup stories or anything like that, because I'd always heard about all the maniacs and everything else until 4 weeks ago. So we had just, or it might have been 4 weeks ago, time frame is not all that great, but it was just after the week of fall break, and I had just spent an entire week of being up at 3 in the morning trying to edit projects. It was 3 in the morning, that was what time I was going to bed, waking up at 7 in the morning, 7 days straight. I was very tired. It was the Monday of the week after, and I started talking to this girl over the weekend. And she calls me on Snapchat, okay? And she was like, hey, do you want to come have some fun with me? this is like 8 o'clock at night. And I'm just like, I'm not getting any work done. I can't focus. Fuck it. So I go out, and the first thing it is like, okay, so where am I meeting you? Where do you want to go? And she was like, well, you can't meet me at my place. And I was like, why? And she said that the people that she lived with don't like seeing more than just her car. So she wanted me to drop my car off at the Walmart on a certain street, and we would just get in her car and go back to her place. And I was like, okay, this brain wasn't working as much as the other brain. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And here's the bad part. She told me where she lived, but when I got into her car, she started going in the opposite direction of where she lived. Turns out she pays rent in a totally different location from what she had told me. The first location she told me is where she crashes when she can't live where she pays rent. So we go down the highway about 10 miles. It is too late to jump out this car and walk. It's like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just going with this. But I start shaking, like visibly shaking. Like I wasn't sure if I was cold or just visibly afraid. And we finally get to her place. It is in the middle of nowhere. And I hit up my friend like, hey, this is my exact location. If I do not call you by midnight, call the cops, this is where I am. So we finally get in the house, and a lot of stuff goes on in there, and I don't know if I should elaborate on any of that. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to get my throat slashed at one point, because she tried to make me feel very comfortable, and because I was still very much visibly afraid. So she tried to make me feel comfortable. It went on through the hookup, and I thought she was going to murder me because she turned off the light at one point and had me pinned down at one point. And the blade, there was a blade right above my head on a windowsill, and I just freaked out. I freaked out real bad, but I didn't do anything. So when we were done, I was like, okay, that's it, you know, I'm chill, but I hadn't quite come down off of that particular feeling. Like I was still very much in that mode, and she starts coming down from something else. So me freaking out, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go home now. She took me back to my car. I called my friend, and I told him everything. And I told him that I will probably never, ever touch Tinder again. And to this day, I still use Tinder.
What online dating experience? I don't really have much of an experience. I've been on like 1 or 2 dates, but those kind of ended pretty quick. So like I don't really have much of an experience.